I spent over a decade as a police officer. Now I defend people charged with crimes for a living. Are you allowed to record the police is a question that I get asked all the time. So let me answer it. And I'll also let you in on some important things to know, and even stuff most police officers on the street don't know themselves. I'll give you the short answer right now because I'm not going to make you sit through 10 minutes of the video to get it. There is no law that simply and straight up bans you from filming the police. But where you are and what you're recording can change the answer to the question completely. And in some situations, it can be legal to film, but illegal to share what you captured. So even though I just gave the answer away in the first 30 seconds, stick with me because the except for and what if bits of the video where people get themselves stuck and charged or arrested. Later on in the video, I'll tell you the one thing that the police will try to order you to do that they don't have the power to do. As always, this video isn't legal advice. If you need legal advice, you should speak to a lawyer. Let's cover the two most common situations where this question comes up, and then the interesting bits about when it can be illegal and the complications after that. The most common situation, number one, is you're in a public place in Victoria and the police are talking to you. Let's say you're driving and you get pulled over. Now there's a police officer at your window. Can you record that? The answer is yes, because you are a part of the conversation. The law lets you record it. But if you choose to, be very careful about recording it for two reasons. The first is you might inflame the situation. If the police are talking to you, they might suspect you of an offence. If you pull out your phone and start filming them, then it's possible that suspicion can gather or harden or increase. For something minor where they have a choice about whether to charge you or not, maybe like low-level speeding for instance, annoying the police officer is a good way to turn the possibility of a warning into a ticket. Second, and this is the part they don't tell you, a lot of police don't properly know this law. The Surveillance Devices Act, as it's called in Victoria, is not something general duties police officers, the ones you're most likely to deal with on a day-to-day basis, get training on. I know this because I was one of them, and in my years as a general duties police officer, I never once got a briefing or information on the Surveillance Devices Act. Some officers genuinely believe it's illegal for you to film your own conversation with them. And they're not lying to you, they're just wrong, but they believe it. And an officer who's wrong but still believes they're right can seize your phone, arrest you, and then you've got to deal with the consequences later. It usually gets sorted out, but sorted out down the line can still mean having your items seized, being arrested, and a lot of stress and concern that you didn't need. Have you ever been told by the police not to film, or you wanted to film them and didn't because you weren't sure of the law? Leave a comment below with your situation or your example. Common situation two, you're in a public place, but this time you're not involved. Let's say you're walking down the street and you see the police arresting someone and there's force being used in that arrest. Are you able to record that? The video, yes, without a question. It's happening in public. There's no expectation of privacy. So filming that arrest is legal, full stop. The audio part of that can be slightly trickier. You see, recording a private conversation that you're not part of without everyone's consent is an offence that carries up to 2 years in prison as a maximum penalty. A private conversation has a legal definition in the Act, but in plain terms, it's one where the people in the conversation have shown that they didn't want to be overheard, whispering, tucked away from other people at their own private table, something like that. But it doesn't include a conversation where it would be reasonable to expect someone else might overhear it. So an arrest happening out on the street is almost exactly that. It's reasonable to expect someone else will hear it. So on the audio, you're almost certainly fine, but there's room for argument. It's not black and white. If you're enjoying the video, you're interested in Australian criminal law or the justice system and the police, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Helps out a new channel like mine a ton. That covers the two situations you're most likely to be in, but here's what you absolutely have to know if you're going to film the police or you're considering it. Filming the police draws their attention. They might come over to you and talk to you, ask you questions, demand your name and address, any number of things. Filming alone doesn't give them the power to demand your details. A separate power has to apply for that. Something like if they suspect you've committed an offence or you're driving or in charge of a motor vehicle, but just filming itself doesn't give them the power to come and demand that from you. There is an exception that can crop up that might matter though. If you film something and it is evidence of a serious crime, then that gives the police the power to demand your name and address because you might be able to help the investigation into that offence. So refusing in that situation is an offence, and importantly, if there's evidence on your phone, they may be able to seize it as part of the investigation and eventually prosecution. They could do that either by getting a warrant or, in some cases, possibly even without a warrant, they could seize it. But that's a pretty complex area, but you need to know that it is a possibility. The question I get most often, and what can trip people up, is what happens if you are filming and the police push back? If they tell you, don't film this. Let's just cut straight to the chase about what they can and can't make you do. They cannot order you to stop filming just because they don't like it or they don't want you to. There is no power that says or gives them the ability to say, put your phone away, I don't want to be recorded, or stop filming this. That power just doesn't exist. But what they can do is give you a lawful direction for a real or lawful reason. The police have broad powers to control public order, and a public arrest might have the power to make you move away if you're too close or interfering. If they purport or claim to be exercising one of those powers, then ignoring their lawful direction can be an offence. But simply them saying, stop filming me, you can't film this, put the camera away, that in itself is not within their power and they can't make you do it. They also can't make you hand your phone over on demand, and they can't make you delete what you filmed. There's no power to make you wipe footage. And if an officer tells you to delete what you've recorded, then just straight up, they're wrong. And they also can't force you to let them into your phone, at least not without a court order. You don't have to hand over your PIN or your passcode. And that holds even if they've lawfully seized your phone, because seizing your phone and getting into your phone are two completely different things. And if they want to get into it, then they need a warrant. One thing to avoid is handing them your phone or access to your phone while your phone is unlocked, the screen's open. If you hand it over, there's no requirement that they lock your phone and all of a sudden they've got your phone and access to everything on it. So if you are filming the police, keep your phone in your hand. If you can, keep it locked. The bottom line is use your common sense, film from a safe distance, follow the lawful directions of police officers, and remember that you're not allowed to film this is a line that they can reach for when they're the ones that are doing something wrong. Now, here's the big caveat where something can become illegal. If you obstruct, resist, hinder, or get in the way of police doing their job, then you're the one committing an offence, and it can be serious. If officers are in the middle of a violent arrest and you're right on top of them filming, so close that you're getting in the way, whether or not you thought the arrest was lawful, then that's an offence. And police have real power to manage public order and crime scenes. Like I've said, they can direct you to move on, move back, get out of an area. And if they give you that direction to step away, you should probably follow it. Refusing a lawful direction is illegal and you can get charged. So just to clarify, when it's actually illegal to film the police, we've spoken a lot about public places or places outside. If you're in a private place, for instance, your house or someone's house, and you're part of what's happening, then you can record that interaction. But importantly, and different from the other one, you cannot freely share the recording without the consent of everyone who's involved, or some narrow legal exceptions. And if you're in a private place and you're not part of the conversation, you can't record it at all unless everyone consents. And everyone, I mean the people in the conversation. So the rule to remember is in public, filming the police is almost always legal, and even the audio is usually fine. In private, you can film if you're part of it, but sharing it is a different story. And no matter where you are, film, don't interfere. The second you get in the police's way, you're the one in the wrong and you can expect to face consequences. If you found this useful, subscribe. I break this stuff down every week. And if you want more, go and watch the video here about some police powers that you might not expect they have.